Hello, my friends. We are a friendly, accessible, inclusive, open trading community, the rising tide. My name's Rocky Outcrop. Welcome back to the show. Empathy grows as we learn, said Alice Miller. The purpose of human life is to serve and to show compassion and to help others. Oh, and the will to help others, said Albert Schweitzer. Or was that Schweitzer? I'm reading these off a screen, by the way. I think they're very good though. And never look down on anybody unless you're helping him up, said Jesse Jackson. I think that's one that we probably all know. I think that's a pretty good phrase. That's essentially kind of what we do here as in this community. We never look down on anybody unless we're helping them up. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. We're going to be looking at some charts today. We'll be looking at technical analysis. If this is your first time joining us, hit a like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Get to know the people in the community around you. The chat is very, very friendly. Good morning, chat. Good morning, chat. Good morning, Anthony Jackson. Good morning. Good morning, Christy, Phil, Harry, Alexander, and Bucephalus. Alexander and Bucephalus. Oh, hello. Good to see you, Ghost of West Coastonian. That's Corey. Good to see you, Dan, Stephen, Scott, Banana Fridge, Vic Vince. There are so many people out there. Thank you so much. Rich, Joe, all y'all. All y'all, all. Koki said. Just there now. I can't remember if it was you or Jamie, but thanks for introducing me to the Wheel of Time. Already on the third book. Also love the TA. Cookie, that'll have been me, all right. The Wheel of Time. Brilliant, man. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Absolutely. There's other people in here as well. Shout out to Horn Hunter if you tune in today. Leave a message down below. See that we've got more Wheel of Time fans in here. Excellent stuff. Hope you're looking forward to the TV show. I certainly am. Great, good one. As you can see here, I looked up those phrases. I searched on Google famous phrases about compassion and education. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. And really, the one that actually I really wanted to say was that one right there for everybody. So that's where that came from. There's behind the scenes. What's that? What's that? What's that? What's this? Seems like I'm a way off on the screen. I'll just try and balance myself out a bit better. Hold on a second. Why am I all the way up here? Why am I all the way up here? Maybe. What's this? We'll take a look at that and other things in today's show in short order. Stick me on top of the old tip jar. It's Friday, yeah. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. We'll be doing lots of technical analysis and all that. Good to see you, Maria, in there. Hi, good morning. Good to see you, Sasha. Happy Friday. Good to see you, Baby Joe. Good to see you. Holy sugars, your hair is looking good today, Rocky. You think so? Thanks so much. Direct all compliments about my hair towards Sasha. Pardon me. And Kevin Murphy. Okay, so yes, today we'll be doing lots of chit chat with the chat as well. It's Friday. We've done it. We've made it through at the end of the week. We can review a few things. So I have a poll in there at the minute. You get your votes in. I'll be ending it in about 10 seconds. It just simply says, have you learned anything this week? I see it's 100% of people are saying that they have. Get your votes in. I mean, surely there's somebody out there who doesn't think they've learned something. That's totally... Drop your curly hair routine. Right, cool. Ending that poll. That's really great that you all have learned something this week. So from you out there who have learned something, tell me what it is that you've learned so that we can discuss that a bit more, and maybe double down on any lessons that there've been on that front. You know, tell me what it is so that we can discuss it more, and make sure that everybody gets the benefit from it, or we could look back and we could see how things went. We can look at a couple of things as well today's show, like PCT, because we checked on that yesterday and we were analysing how that low was coming in at the time, or was it going to be more, and all that sort of stuff. And we can take a look at a couple of the stocks that I am the only person to have gone long on in the world, like Evergrande. And the truth is, I'm not the only person to have gone long on it in the world. There's plenty of other people that will be going long on it, but you know, just we're a very small percentage of people out there that are talking about it in this way. So we can talk about that, can take a look at Evergrande charts and all the rest of it. But yes, if you do have something that you learned in particular that I could kind of bring back onto the screen and show people again, then that'd be cool. So do let me know whatever that is. Now you might not find the words to be able to describe it, but you could describe it using whatever. You could describe it using whatever terms you like to talk about it. Oh, I'm a bit chilly. Just a second here. Right. Yep, that's right. Diran, Kieran, Evergrande went up 9.88% today. It was also up a few percent the day before. Yes, exactly. Huge bounce is right. Sky, you asked me a question before a minute ago, and I missed it. I'm going to scroll back up and see if I can see it. Have you tried the curly girl method? I think you have curly hair for real. I've not tried the curly girl method. I don't believe I have. Maybe have. Shout out to Apple Blossom here, by the way, who also knows about plopping hair. It's a thing you can go search. Plopping. Plop. It's a method you can use. Helps curly hair. It does work. I have learned a lot about pros and cons of crypto markets and platforms. So it's nice to hear about the bad and the good as a novice, says Sky. Cool, excellent. So crypto is one. That's a good one. 2 days in a row, says Bait Buckets. That's right. You've been looking. CWBR looking good pre-market, says Ghosted Jiu-Jitsu guy. Okay, well maybe what I should do is get some squats out of the way. We can see the time up there. It's 20 minutes before markets open. I'll get the squats out of the way so I can energize myself. If you're not doing the squats, you can skip ahead 1 minute if you're watching this in the recorded video later. If you're here live watching us together, we'll be done in a minute from now. So this is your opportunity to take just 1 minute out of the thousands and thousands of minutes that you have to just do something that will make you healthier and better human being. Better human being, you know what I mean, physicality wise, you know, a better performing, healthier human being. Obviously, in terms of soft things, you know, doing squats certainly doesn't make you any more moral. Right, let's do this. One. We'll do the 18 again. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. Harder today. 13. 14. Only 4 to go. Last one. Thank you. And if you're joining us and you wonder why there's a mad Scottish man doing squats on your TV or whatever, reason is because we do this in the morning to bring ourselves back into the world of the living so that we can compete amongst living people as we look at charts. Dan Dawson, thank you so much for becoming a member. That's cool. Super appreciated, buddy. Thank you so much. Charts. So, a discussion point's come in here. Parabolic SAR versus Williams Fractals. Parabolic SAR versus Williams Fractals. Okay. Let's do it. Real quick. On this AHT chart over here. Parabolic SAR. There. Do I have fractals on here? There we go. Cool. So, there's your stop on the fractal. There's your stop on SAR. You could have used this. If you had used this one, you'd have stopped out here. Pardon me, by the way. Good to hear my voice is working again now. You'd have stopped out here. Obviously, if you're using this one, you stop out around about the same price as the Williams Fractal. That's on that chart right there. And as we can see, this is something which has been going largely sideways on the downward slope here. So in this downward section, if you've been using the Parabolic SAR, you stop out here. So you got in somewhere up here and you leave here. Williams Fractals. Yeah, same sort of dealio there. What are we seeing here in terms of coincidences and whatnot? What are we seeing here? What are we seeing here? Williams Fractal in this high that happens to be circled there. Here's a low just here. What are we seeing here in terms of this thing? Well, Williams Fractals are these triangles, okay? That's what these Williams Fractals are, these triangles. And for people who don't know what Williams Fractals are, it's dead easy. You can just go to Google and type in Williams Fractals and it'll tell you. Also, as well, it's when you're seeing a candle which has got which is essentially like got two these then a candle there and then a candle there, and you'll get a little triangle at the top here to say that you've got this sort of candle set up. Now that's the theory. There's the practice. Obviously, because candles are all very different, you get funny looking shapes on them. But the fractals thing, there's a principle, and it's very, very much easy enough to identify them even without the indicator. What is it that you're seeing there? Williams himself didn't explain the fractal in terms of just simple market structure. But had he done, he would have explained that in a high, you're going to have a candle which is surrounded by candles which don't manage to take out that high itself, which will either get continuation, which will have had this run up to it. Right, so you've got these two candles, you've got a third candle. Looks like this is going to be the fractal thingy, Williams Fractal, the shape, the top shape or the bottom shape. You get another one in here. You're just waiting for one more candle to come in. It comes. Is it going to be a fractal or not? Well, let's say that it is a fractal. That's because the prices didn't take out that candle. Let's say that it's not a fractal. Why is that? It's because the prices did take out that candle. What's it therefore showing you? It's showing you where you have your local tops and local lows. Therefore, whenever you're looking at Williams Fractals, it's an easy way to identify local highs and local lows. Whenever he told people to use it to manage their trades, what he was saying was that he made himself $480 million trading simply by managing his stops with the previous highs along the way. Now, in your markets, when you're trading, you might choose to use the previous high. You might be aware, because of the range in the markets, the amount that they move, the true range, you might be aware that if you were to use a fractal here or sorry, or whatever, that the markets could easily come back down and take out the previous one. So instead, what you're doing is you're using the fractal maybe from before. Maybe if this were to have turned out to be a trend and move that you wanted to stay in, you used this fractal as your cutoff point rather than the last one. So instead of cutting off here, you use this one. Because maybe you're thinking about the trend and how you're going in it and how you could come back down to test off certain areas. Sometimes that makes sense. For example, here, had you been playing it towards the downside, had you used this not the last fractal, but the fractal before the last one, then you're not getting caught out in moves where you simply get a high or a low. You would be stopped out when you got a higher high or a higher low. That's what Williams fractals translates back out to. All roads leads to Rome, all of them. Now, the Parabolic SAR has similar implications. However, it's less discretionary, given that it's based off of purely ever increasing or decrease or never contracting. It never gets further away from the price. It always moves towards it. What does that mean? It means there's a sort of time element in there. As in, if the candles are moving up the way, and then the Parabolic SAR is trying to catch up, then it's going to catch up, and only whenever the candles have gone up a significant distance higher than the previous candle will any more distance be made between the current previous low and the range away from the prices. Then in markets which move sideways, well, of course you can use the Parabolic SAR, absolutely. The Parabolic SAR is particularly useful in markets where you are looking at parabolic moves. Therefore, here on the loop ring chart, if I just hide all the drawings, this is loop ring on the 4-hour time frame. If I just hide all the drawings again, whoops, on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that the prices are moving up here. Can you see this? Can you see how this happened? That it moves up, and then without any sort of real sort of care for what you think about the trend is, it tells you, look, just get out here. The markets move sideways for a while. There's a period of time where it shows you, you know, that there's a high in here, Parabolic SAR lining up again perfectly with the fractals, as you can see here at the top. There's the Williams fractal at the top there, and also you can see that in this low here you have these two Williams fractals as it happens. Now, and then maybe you got back into a position somewhere along the way. Say you got back in here, who knows, right? Then the markets go up again, you stop out in here. What happened? Consolidation during that period of time. Here's a parabolic move. Here's it helping you stop out. And then if you think the markets might resume being parabolic again, it helps you get back into the position, you know, once it's flipped over here. So once it flips over, you know that you could be online for a new position. Then once you see that the market structure, the market itself hasn't taken out the structure, then you're able to get in. So if you were to think about it from how Wells Wilder talked about how he'd use the Parabolic SAR, he would only get into it on the basis that you hadn't actually taken out a fractal of Williams fractal styles, because Williams fractals identifies local highs and lows. And the Parabolic SAR, you would only get into it if you had confirmation that you didn't take out within the true range of the movements of the price, within the time frame, if you actually continued to have the true range from before, and that you were working along the same sort of volatility basis as you were before, and you still didn't take out that previous low, well, then you have a confirmation that you could get in and ride the trend up. Again, Williams fractals versus Parabolic SAR, they're two different systems, two different things. But because we're all operating on the lines of using charts and all the information is derived from the same sources, same data to be displayed here, that's how that can work out. So as you can see here, rode right the way on up towards the next high in here with the Parabolic SAR, telling you where you would move your stop to. This is the 4-hour chart. So essentially, like every 4 hours, you'd have moved your stop up, up. Another 4 hours went by, up again. Another 4 hours went by, up again. Another 4 hours went by, up again. And there's this contraction in the Parabolic SAR during this phase. As you can see that the prices are moving up, and they're getting closer. They would be getting closer to the pricing, but and it pushes it right up, pulls it up, pulls it up with it. And then as soon as it stopped As soon as it stopped what? As soon as it stopped what? As soon as it stopped the parabolic rise, as soon as it has stopped the parabolic rise, then you can see that there could be, of course, a stop and reversal in the markets. Therefore, parabolic stop and reversal. There you go, Jiu-Jitsu guy. If you didn't learn anything, then maybe you've learned something today so far this week. Of course, it was 100% of people said they'd learned something. So hopefully that's some explanation for you with regards to Williams fractals versus the Parabolic SAR, what they are, you know, how they're used, how there's a degree of overlap based off the fact that we are looking at charts and all roads lead to Rome, how there isn't so much a one versus the other, but it's kind of what value are you getting out of it as you use it? How are you using it? How does it enable you to trade more effectively? Are you using it in the most appropriate way at the time? Clearly, in the parabolic moving markets, the parabolic SAR serves its own very, very clear, very, very useful purpose. Now, Wells Wilder Jr. made this thing on the basis of understanding what it was to be a trader. This is less of an indicator from an analysis point of view and far more of an actionable thing to have on your charts to help you as a trader. That's what it's for. You can go ahead and read the section in the book about it. It's about, I think it's chapter 3 of the Wells Wilder New Concepts in Technical Analysis book that he wrote, right? Wonderful stuff. Excellent. Let me just jump back over to the chat there and see if that was any use. Jiu-Jitsu guy, was that of any use to you? Did you get anything out of that? I had seen the Parabolic SAR but never looked at Billy Bob's fractals. Mark me down as having learned something today. Way cool. I'll definitely have to go back and rewatch that several times. Thanks, Rocky Crop. You're welcome. That's cool. That's cool. Awesome. Kieran, what you saying there? I have some money ready to average down. Or watch Rocky's video on risk management and figure out where you want to set your stop loss. Aha. What's Brendan T saying then? Was Brendan trading something? Brendan T. I just started with $500. Was looking to get into Loopring when it pulls back. Watching both yours and Rocky's stream to get an idea of when to enter. Cool. Okie dokie. Tradespotting, good advice, makes sense. Mushroom minis are also have time to do TA, the most important lesson I have learned. Ah, yeah? Nice. There is always time to do TA. Good one. Good one. Good one. Good one. Right. Well, I say every 4 hours here, but this is the 4-hour time frame that I had up, by the way. That was the 4-hour time frame. So the Parabolic SAR is showing you here on this one. Of course, you could look at it on a number of different time frames. You're seeing on the 1-hour time frame, you're getting a lot more of these you might not be able to see that so easily, so I'll zoom in. You're getting a lot more of these instances where, of course, it's under and then above, under, above, under, above, under, above, under, above, under, above. So, but then again, you know, it's fairly easy to say that on a 1-hour time frame that doesn't look parabolic, whereas here on a 4-hour time frame it does look parabolic, and therefore you're getting that extra enhancement of the or use case for the, or you know, the appropriate. It's appropriate to use the Parabolic SAR in those circumstances. Here you can see in the 4-hour time frame over to here on the left, before Loopring went parabolic, how the Parabolic SAR was much less useful to you in terms of how useful it is on the parabolic moves. Do you see here that, and the Williams fractals as well? I mean, the Williams fractal is completely and absolutely redundant in this situation. Do you see how useless they are? Just want that to be very, very clear here. How very, very, very useless this shit is on this scenario compared to this. Whoa, that's useful. And again, of course, that's going to have implications across different time frames as well. Anyway, get them off there. Just a second. Sorry. What's this? What is this? What is this? Oh, just a second, people. I'm live on my YouTube show. I'll call in an hour or so. Love you, X. That's a message to my mum. Okay, so right. what will we do here then for the next, and I will call her an hour, so there's motivation for me to remember to get going when the time gets coming to the time to get going. Okay, right, so I'll be tuning out here at 3:30 because I'm going to call my mum. AHT, I wanted to show this. We talked, it frustrates the hell out of me when I try to move the charts and accidentally draw on them, but for some reason I still don't do anything to learn, I still don't seem to learn the lesson of it. Yeah, it's madness, isn't it? It's madness. Right, so Rocky Eclipse alerts aren't working apparently. Are they not? I'm just going to double check here. Oh, that's right. So they see that. That's annoying, isn't it? Well, I'm just annoying, isn't it? What am I supposed? I don't know what to do about that. But I will be doing. I don't miss them. They're still here. I hear that. Actually, no, it's working there. They've been working. They're working. And I'm going to read them as well. Okay. There we go. That's it working there as well. So I'm going to be reading these. You know, I never ever miss them. Everybody knows I've never missed a single one ever. Okay, the markets are opening up in a minute, right? So I'll get round to reading them in a second, if you just bear with me. This is the AHT chart. We were talking about this when obviously it was up here at the $16 region and saying, it could really still fall down to 13.25 as this indicator shows. We came back down here, hit off of it, and this is a 4-hour time frame, so we had time to push on past, and we didn't. We found a low in here, and it would be lovely to see if this could rise up today. Pre-market pricing a second ago was a cent up, a second then was a cent down. It's opened up, maybe 1 cent down from where it left off yesterday. A little bit of follow through just here. I'm going to just make it fairly straightforward on myself right now and think about this from this point of view here, that I would like to see the prices manage to maintain themselves above 12.92, and I will be quite bullish on this in the rest of the day. I'm actually bullish on it already, and that's where we are with that one. It's an interesting one, and people have been looking at this, so I just thought I'd bring that up at the start of the show. We can come back around and check on that. Going over here to check on our pal GME, struggling, might continue to do so. I have this blue box in here. I'm going to presume that came in from some analysis I did yesterday with regards to liquidity zones or some effort like that. I'll just jump down to a smaller time frame and see what's going on in here. Well, I'm not really sure, but there you have it. We're at that area, right? How have we done here? Hoping to see bullish divergence. Got some hoping to see a positive on the DMI. It's actually crossed negatively and hasn't uncrossed yet. Hoping to see something decent there. Well, the rise that's happened so far certainly hasn't been a trend breaking rise. We did push up to $206 yesterday. Currently, obviously, back at under the $204 sort of pivot I was talking about yesterday. So just kind of seeing this, I suppose that was what that blue box was actually all about. There was me trying to show the fact that that's what that box was all about. Was, and I remember now, is that I mentioned that the thing with this is that this is more of the pivot area, kind of above $204 or $5 is a chance of getting out of this zone. Underneath this area is continuation for the downside, and that's maybe a good enough area to leave that on for today at the start of the show. AMC over here, yep, it's got that big old flash on it down at $34. Could that happen? Well, it was the same sort of mentality that we had when we were looking at AHT the other day, as if to say it could happen. And if it were to happen, then we would not see some sort of bullish turnaround or bullish reversal coming in there. This is broadening out at the minute as it happens, this structure. So just worth pointing that out. Something like that, if this would get the point. But pushing back up of this region isn't necessarily even that bullish, to be aware of that fact. That $40 yet again operates as resistance for us. That's of course no surprise. $40 being so clear here. $40, $44, $36 are the $3-4 10% movement areas for us on AMC to be aware of. And as the current prices are below $40, well, we're only 20 cents away from that $40 pivot point. Could we push up past $40, not to 44 and all the rest of it? Certainly would love to see so. I don't want to see us coming in and filling in this $34 flash, for months and 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 months. But the chances of us doing it before we actually go on up are exceedingly high. So while the prices here, and if I just chuck everything into the bin real briefly, while prices here are above the 236 here at 39.37, I can remain fairly positive on it. Dropping down below 39.37 makes me feel quite negative and quite rapid to change my opinion about things, about whether or not we can push past that, would be the point I'd make there. And I'm going to check those messages and welcome the new member in just a second here as well. Thank you so much, by the way, Nikki, for becoming an early supporter. That's really appreciated. So yeah, let me just see those messages then. So I was just trying to give a quick sort of round the markets look at a few different things as we start off the show here. Purecycle Technologies as well. What can we see here then for us? Is it of any real shock to anybody out there that we've had this amazing correspondence with the with this area of resistance? If anybody ever needed proof about how technical analysis can work, and you want to know whether or not I can do it, and how I would be able to interpret a situation fairly quickly as it was happening live, you can just check yesterday's market open. So yesterday's video, and you can see the EST time or whatever it is up there on the screen. So you should be able to see it. Just markets opening. So go back to the video yesterday about 9:30 US time. It says it on the video, and you'll see how this whole section here went down. So that's cool. So now we're in there at that 236 again, and we bounced away from it towards the downside. So I actually have explained all of this technical analysis on this. I explained it yesterday live. We're just still waiting for this to kind of pan out. I'm going to go over to the chat and catch up with those messages that came in now, actually, I suppose. But I'll just want to see if there's any other ones that people have been trading a lot recently that they might want to look at. There's VLDR. So I suspect with that downward sloping line there that we kind of covered off that in a sense as well. It's kind of it's just kind of randomly drawn in there. It's not covered. That's a bad line. It's a bad line. Remove that line. Bad line. It does make sense though, in terms of it was the theory that I was trying to point out at the time. Oh, I called it 100% to the penny. Yeah. So just chuck all this out for a second. Not out of the woods yet. Not out of the woods yet. Not out of the woods yet. Out of the woods there. Yeah, so we're pretty close to a phase shift in this thing, that would be my opinion. I mean, you can see it kind of laid out here in the charts in terms of like this sort of simple truths that we look for in charting, such as a scenario like this on the DMI, such as how close we are to the bullish control zone, here on the RSI, and therefore as well how close we are to that 236 in a number of different ways, but how we've maintained one in so far along the way, from there to there. So if we were to look towards the 618 of this thing, then in around about that region there, then we probably could also kind of consider along the way from that high to this area just here. 618 is a chunk above that 236 for us there. It's at sort of 936, 236 in it. $8, 689. Anyway, it would be good to see this actually get its turnaround, to get the long-term trend change and shift turnaround here. But we are going to remain somewhat vigilant on it. I can actually just, I could actually even just kind of demonstrate this using using this downward sloping line of the Fibonacci retracement. I mean, it's not what it's there for, but I can use that there. So that little dashed line that's running down there, you can see that obviously it's easy to make a case for us to say that we've changed scenarios, changed conditions here, having pushed beyond that serrated line there, but it's weak as it stands just now. Obviously, good trading moves, and well done to Vic, Vince, and everybody else for taking advantage of these things, but until such times as it isn't. Well, it is what it is until it is what it isn't, right? I mean, that's the way it is with trading all the time. So this will be one that I bring up to look at here in a second, and I'm going to probably enjoy talking about all this sort of stuff as well. So, but I'll just jump back over to the chat real quick for a minute and see how you are all getting along here. Good morning, Fat Keanu. It's always good to see you. It's good to see you, buddy. Lovely person that you are. And it's good. Thank you so much then to Nikki7 for becoming an early supporter. That's really appreciated, my friend. Disembodied remains of manifest density. Tickle test. Tickle, tickle. Yeah. Oh, if you're wondering if like why it's not going ticker bingo, ticker bingo, 2 reasons. Nobody's put in a super chat that's over $20. Not that it matters. The more important reason is because I don't have it turned on. If people want that to be turned on, I can turn it on. Let me know if you want it turned on. I'll turn it on, but it's not on at the minute. That's why it's not doing that. Otherwise, all the other ones would have done ticker bingo, ticker bingo. But it's Friday and I'm having a chilled stream. So what else is there? Yes, I wanted to read this one out. This actually came in before the show started, right? So so thank you to everybody for this. And I saw this before the show started as well, and I was waiting to come around and talk about it. So thank you so much for the 333 that came in from Fortuna Kiss. Bling! Thank you so much for the 333 that came in from Fortuna Kiss. Just popping in to say a huge thank you for teaching TA. I really appreciate it. Sorry, can't stay. My lil laptop just can't handle live streams. But as always, we'll be watching everything on Odyssey. Big love to you and Tradespotting. Wow, that's really quality. Fortuna Kiss, you see me on Odyssey. So few people know about that website, really. But I'm on there if you want to go check it out. Anybody, it's one of those websites where you get paid to watch content, but they don't copy over my live streams. They tend not to copy my live streams over, so people don't see them, and that's obviously where the majority of my content is. But I've got some other stuff on there too, of course. Check it out. I can't remember if it was you or Jamie, but thanks for introducing me to the Wheel of Time. That's cool, Cookie. You're welcome. Amber, can you take a look at Link or AMD today? You're a genius. On either would be appreciated. Amber, absolutely I can. Thanks very much. It's very kind words. Very, very kind words. Okay, I'll take a look at Link and AMD today. Corey says, got a bunch more West Coast fivers today. Why did I read that like that? It's funny. Got a bunch more fivers today. You should have this one. Thanks for everything, you legend. I didn't know about Billy Bob's Fractals until today, so mark me as having learned something. Thank you so much, man. It's really always appreciated, Corey. Always is. Test super chat Evergrande this morning. Kieran, yes. Disembodied remains of manifest density. Thank you. Tickle test. Whoop whoop. And the Ghost of Jiu-Jitsu guy sent $2. Thanks for the lesson earlier. YouTube's Fanny. Brilliant. Okay, cool. Excellent. So just to make sure I didn't miss something as well, I'll get around to looking at it. I'll look at Evergrande soon. But there was something that somebody asked me to look at, and it was Amber, and it was Link or AMD. Let's go take a look at Chainlink versus USDT first. And here's the chart here for that one. Thanks so much for that donation that just came in there, it seems, and I'll take a look at that in just a second. It's Canadian. Is that Sal? It is Sal. What did you say, Sal? Can we get Evergrande update for D Harker's puts? Cry face. Laughing. Yeah. Let's take a look at that soon. Soon. I did want to look at it as well. Ooh, I want to look at it. I'll get around to look at that in a minute, right? This chat we've had with Chainlink of late has been great, right? The lack of follow through that we saw in the 24-hour time frame when we had this flash that got filled, great. And the movements we've seen since then towards the top side, well, I mean, the fact that they're towards the top side, great. There is an element here to be questioned about whether or not this is high enough up. I mean, this is just an extended move that's had no real highs or lows on the 24-hour time frame to look at. So looking down the way at some lower time frames, perhaps like the 4-hour and the 1 hour, might give us a bit more insight into this particular movement, which has kind of got that spy type of like a dragging it out nature. Lovely to see that we have pushed past the 113 up there as well a couple of times, up as high as the 1618 as well with the with that most recent move up the way, and that. So things going along okay. As we can see here, yep, this is worth pointing out. So if I just bring out a horizontal line here, you can see that the most recent high that we've had here was not higher than that previous high. If I bring up the oscillators down below, then that'll be nice, because this little movement that we had in here, this little movement that we had in here would have obviously have turned out to be bearishly divergent, you know, with it not being able to take out that high. so far, which gives us a chance to push on past that area. It's a slightly counterintuitive point, but it happens so very often in trading, where you consolidate at an area of resistance. One of the reasons why you might be taking on jet fuel at this point is because you would need to push past further to avoid having that bearish divergence. I'd be talking about taking us up towards the towards that $40 area again. And obviously the wicks that we've had recently have been up as high as 38. We're down there at 33 at the minute, having recovered from being as low as 31, was it? 32, 31 something, 32. So 31.95. So we've so while today so far this 24 hours has been somewhat negative, it's negative, pushing away from an area of resistance where otherwise we would be coming in for some bearish divergence potentially. So within the structure of the last couple of highs, it's worth pointing out, yeah, this feature here that I'm talking about with chain-link pricing just in here being somewhat kind of extended, has got an awful lot to do with this high and this so-called high being potentially divergent. Now, we talked during the week about how divergence can lead to wedges. So just to double down on this chit chat that we've had recently, divergence can lead to wedges. So here's a high and then a high that wasn't divergent. That's not part of a wedge. Here's a high and then another high. And here we can see this could be part of a wedge here. We can see on the MACD that we've got that as confirmation. Equally, we have it across the other oscillators as well, but like I said in that previous episode, it's easier to see in the MACD. So a little bit of that idea for us. Now, what would it take us to, where would we go if we were to move outside of this range? Something like this could happen. We should obviously be cracking up towards that $40 area, $39, etc. Depending on, of course, when this were to happen, if this were to happen. So the question at this stage becomes, for us, if we are looking for continuation, is how are the prices operating? How is things going in this little section just here, where we could perhaps see some problems for us? Is there anything that might give us an idea that could be a pullback? That flash that was on the charts there fulfilled so very, very nicely. Oh my goodness, by the way. So when the prices moved up towards $38 there the other day, you could have been warned to take profit. How else might you have known to take profit in that section? It wasn't actually bearishly divergent, so there was nothing else telling you that you could have taken profit, but other than the fact that, of course, at this point you're thinking to yourself, hey, look, we're up almost 20% from where the flash was. Maybe we get a chance for it to turn around. So that happened. So that's cool. So we've fulfilled that duty, but this is slightly lower than that previous point there. Is that enough to give us support at the wick there? Well, it could be. Anyway, $32. $32 is the range. The price in around $32 is a decent buy price for this one, given the potential to manage your risk. At that $31 pivot point for us if we were to push back down the way. If we were to push back down the way, what does that take us down to? 29.83. So we're at 32 at the minute. You wouldn't want to be, ticking down underneath that 30 price point because it could go down to 29, could even go down to 28, 27, stuff like that as well. So we'd be aware of that. Okay, anyway, that's just sorry, I'm not too sure. I could set myself up for a fall at times when I take your compliment to heart, Amber, and you say your genius on a chart. That's very nice of you to say something like that, but I certainly wouldn't want to feel like oh, I need to do something genius now. Oh. The broadening wedge here on AMD managed to work out and actually then get continuation towards the top side. That's lovely to see. The first point here being, I guess, that we obviously came up back to challenge at this area, and that's a nice move just in and of itself. I mean, it's not like huge, but you're getting a good solid 10%, and that's huge for a lot of people. So that wasn't a bad thing to have done at the time, evidently. Now we've moved up loads, and you can see here that it's got that parabolic nature to it. So in a sense, if you're trading this live, this would be an example where you go, okay, I'll pop the Parabolic SAR back on and have a quick look just to kind of follow through with what we were talking about earlier on then. Flip, flop during this period of consolidation. So, tough times there. then parabolic, or moving up the way. And that's a nice kind of way to kind of think about how if you were playing this broadening wedge and you're simply thinking to yourself, well, I'll play it, but I'll also only play it at times when it fails. Instead, I'm just going to go and see if we get continuation. Could this operate as continuation for us? And by the way, of course, from a broader perspective, then obviously that you're looking at this and saying this is a bull flag, and that movements up past this area could obviously continue on up the way, and you'd be looking for a big move like that, which is exactly then what seems to have happened, by the way, here. But anyway, you'd be then looking at this and saying, well, we've got the Parabolic SAR. How's that going for us? What's going to happen? Parabolic SAR is going to get you out at the first instance of any bull flag in a parabolic move. Any consolidation, bull flags are the type of consolidation that you want to see during parabolic moves. And it's going to get you out there. What's happened again here? It's done the same thing. Now, it's appeared up the top, and of course, that is showing us without a doubt, it shows us where our market structure would be. The way that this thing is calculated and everything else, it's not going to be a surprise that that's the way it'll be. Now, the elements of this, of course, are to do with the amount that is moved, that's the amount that it moves. So if you see it coming into play, what it means is what's happened is that the prices have moved up and then moved down somewhat. So if they're getting the Parabolic SAR appearing, the Parabolic SAR is going to be appearing at a couple of true ranges above the current prices, and a couple of true ranges is going to be a couple of periods. Well, sure, if the prices moved up and then had a couple of periods to go down, then by just the outcome of that mathematics, it means that it's almost certainly always going to be at the area of your previous high, isn't it? What's the psychology behind a bull flag? Well, a bull flag would be, if we came up and then tested at our previous high and got follow through, that maybe we'd be looking at carrying up this range thereafter. So where could we be going if we were to continue this parabolic run towards the top side? Could be if we're going up towards $184. The current price has been $155. We'd be hoping for this to be a bull flag for it to work out in our favor. We have got the Parabolic SAR in here showing us that we currently need to wait for this thing to actually flip to the other direction. When's that going to happen? Well, if we push past our previous highs. Indeed, if we actually push past the Parabolic SAR where it's coming in at. So you can see that if we actually not only do it, we don't really need to push past the full height of that 154, that as time goes on here, if we consolidate in this section for a wee while, the Parabolic SAR will drop down a little bit and give you that signal coming in down below again, with another couple of true ranges towards the downside underneath, as we can see over here, and therefore lining up with our previous lows. Okay, that's going to be where what would be happening then thereafter, and that's how you could manage this one, Amber. So if you're looking to trade this from a sort of exclusively using the Parabolic SAR as an example, then that could maybe be the context around your thinking to make that the most sort of profitable endeavor for you. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not insured to tell anybody these things, and I always recommend that you do your own research. Trading is risky, and my results as a trader are not typical. However, these are the sorts of thoughts that I would be having. So if you're looking to try and replicate the sort of things which are typical for me, but which are not typical for the rest of the markets, then that would be kind of the ways that we're looking at things in this area. So that's it from that perspective. Can we get a shortcut on it? Having identified that, if you were to, in a sense, having identified a couple of things here. One is that you're not able to be bullish on it from the point of view of the Parabolic SAR. One being that another being that we have this potential for a bull flag. And then, of course, that the that being in here at the minute and taking out our previous lows could signal continuation towards the downside, etc., etc. So that's where we are just now. But is there a way that we can get a shortcut, knowing then that this is the top end and this is the lower end of the range that we're in, by looking down there at the smaller time frames and seeing what we can see? So far, how are we doing? What is this? Where has this come from? What could we do to make this assessment? And I hope that everybody that's watching along right now it feels like they're benefiting from this technical analysis too. Yes, this is Amber's request, but I think a lot of people out there trade AMD. AMD is a fantastic company, really innovative, fantastic technology. I have AMD in my computer right here. I think it's wonderful that they can competed so strongly with Intel and actually were really able to innovate very well with their multi-threaded core chips and to offer something that was really competitive for power users at home and compete well against Intel. I also really like the fact that they got a female CEO, and I also really like that they haven't been so frequently found to have had exploits within their technology as Intel has. Now, here we can see that if we're looking for insights into can we get a shortcut on this one, that the Parabolic SAR has just opened up down below us again. The reason for that being, as you can see here, the reason for that being, as you can see, because we've just taken out this area just here on the chart. So I should maybe make my pen a bit easier to see. There it is, a bit easier to see. So there's the Parabolic SAR down below. We've just taken that out there. So there's a quick hint for us. But what can we see here? What can we see? Where does this all line up at? Where does it all line up at? What's that? The 236. So right here at 145.94, let's call it 146, you've got the pivot point for us. If we do want to see continuation on and you were looking to take a sort of a more punt, like to off the back of this, then you could of course manage your risk along these sorts of lines to be exceedingly tight on it if this was to be the case, because of course you're looking to not continue down the way, to not get any continuation down at this point here, to try and see some sort of follow through. Now, one way that you could also manage your risk obviously would be to actually use the Parabolic SAR as it was kind of intended in that sense, but would you necessarily be getting the right one? It very rapidly changes. So from the point at which the 236 is there, you'll zoom in here and you'll see that the risk to reward in that trade is 106. Now, if I move this down just a little bit to say at the area here where our previous low is, where the prices actually are right now, so the patience that it took to wait for that, it changes the risk to reward ratio on any potential trade here to 1.6 immediately, just with that tiny little movement just here. That's the way that, you know, these things go, because it's this assessment of what this is versus what this is, and you know, just here puts us in there at halfway, but moving it down a little bit changes things a lot. That's actually a significant percentage higher now as a result. Now, what would this be here? Would this obviously be taking into account the fact that you've got this previous high over here, and then to go back up towards the 24-hour time frame, or the 4-hour time frame, I suppose. So you can see here that obviously the implications are that this would be not actually changing the trend around here. So if you were looking for a head start in this thing, then what you're going to want to do is have two mentalities that you can of course trade within a range, and you can also trade trade with the trend. So it's a case of whether or not you're trading within or with on these things here, and the two different mentalities of course are going to dictate how you look at this stock just here right now. So pop that there, pop that down like that, and say to you, well, that clearly, you know, that if you were to take this move to trade, if you were to take this move here, then what you're doing is trading within the range. And if you're to try and take a move that comes up here to trade within the trend, that you're not able to justify doing that based off of the factors on this time frame right here, right now, unless you're looking at it with those dynamics down below, in which case, of course, you could very easily get stopped out on that move. And therein lies, of course, the differential and that risk to reward with any potential continuation for trends towards the top side. If you were indeed to be looking for a target, then at this point here, just to make this thing, you know, exceedingly complete, and where you would look to two targets to come in at 167 and 187, and in fact the 187 target is where I'm looking to at the minute, given the bull flag potential here, following us up and taking us bang on the 2618, given the relationship with that recent consolidation that we've just had, and that would be typical, and that would be my expectations on this one. So Amber, I feel like on the first one that I looked at, whatever it was now, I've already forgotten. I maybe didn't do as good a job as I would have liked to have done inside my own head. But then also I think that actually what's happened here is I've done really decent enough stuff here for now. So at least that was a nice educational segment. And I do think that it explains the current situation with the prices. And you know, I mean, even if you were, and I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, but you could almost have, even if you were trading along with me exactly at that time when I was talking about the analysis analysis in here exactly then, and you were also actually indulging in taking moves off the market at that point, you would be right now able to actually manage your risk in such a way that everything that I said isn't going to cost you anything, and could only potentially leave you making money if you just moved your stop up right now into profit from where we talked about. So I'm not a financial advisor. None that I do is financial advice. But if you were talking along and doing exactly as I was saying at that exact moment in time, then there is literally zero reason why you could lose any money trading this chart, and you might be in to make some money. And I've given you that there. Not you, Amber, but just everybody else that was watching, just as an example. Right, so I'm just going to go back over these chats real quick here, because we will be taking a look at Evergrande and stuff like that. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss out on any of these ones that came in here that were asking for stuff. I did my homework, learned a lot in the process. Dober, you've done your homework. Effing yes, brilliant. Not going to play that on the show today because of fiddly work to do that, but great. We can leave it for a few days as well and look back retrospectively. I'll watch it in the meantime. If you want me to take a look at it and watch it in the meantime and do the feedback personally and not do it live on the show, let me know. No problem. It will be good to do it live on the show too, though, if you're up for that. So that's all good. Morning, Rocky. Good to see you, Devin. Thanks so much for the $5. That's really appreciated. And goes to Dan. Thanks very much for the $5 as well. Just checking in here, and yep, that's cool. We're on to Evergrande time. Evergrande time. Sal is putting that in for D Harker. By the way, shout out to all y'all out there, everybody, right? Shout out to everybody out there who supports the channel, who watches along, who just takes part in the community, who's here to help be part of that rising tide. You know, to whether that's moral support or just by being a friendly presence or a comic relief or anything that people need as part of a full society. Massive shout out to everybody and as well, of course, the ones that have done financial contributions towards me today. Thank you very kindly for that as well. So thank you, and there goes my wee head popping down behind me there on the charts. Right, great. So let's go take a look at our pal Evergrande. Well, actually, since the markets are open and whatnot, and that's happening now, AHT, nice rise up there, excellent stuff. If you are looking for this to get to be like positive on a Fibonacci perspective, then of course you're looking for 1380, I suppose you could say. The fact of the matter is that we're doing really well here, having traded this down to this area, and now can trade it up away afterwards. Fantastic stuff. I'm just so pleased as ever to see this indicator working so phenomenally well when you really could have been bullish here in that area. And we did talk about it from all of the different perspectives, including this liquidity zone here, this gray area that I put on that I says, that we need to stay above yada yada at that time. We were at it all marked out to say, like, how this could work. Pushed on down and actually did that in the end. I'm forever flabbergasted with the quality of my own work, and I think that's not too much of a shame. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's probably something that everybody should aspire towards. Perhaps at times there's elements in here of like was it forgotten, or was it hidden masterpiece? What's the name of the song, the book by Balzac and the masterpiece? Hold on a second here. Yeah. But it's of course Le Chef d'oeuvre inconnu, the unknown masterpiece. Of course, there's always degrees of kind of like, even at that, it was shocking stuff as I managed to catch the true color of this of skin color here in the chats and stuff like that. Whatever. Anyway, it's not a fully coupled analogy, that one, I have to say. So forgive me for that. I wasn't for all you literophiles out there who are thinking, Rocky, what are you saying? Anyway, right, yeah, 333. So I've been holding off doing it because it is, of course, Evergrande. Evergrande. Grand. So worth pointing out, since we're here talking about the indicator today, will we see, now let's just look back the way and see how many times we've ever seen our Rocky Outcrop flash indicator working here on the Evergrande chart on the 4-hour time frame in the past, ever, just to see if it's, obviously we've got this massive flash just here. There worked as well. Here it worked as well. Groovy. Groovy, groovy. Oh, how did those two go down? Interesting, interesting. Ultimately, this one ultimately working in the end. By the way, as well, people will be like, "Oh, your indicator didn't work because of this. Didn't actually reach it down here. You can see it's not shaded in here." That's not actually the way that this thing works. If you actually look here and look over, you'll see that there's that interaction, but also here and then here and then here. And what's that? Well, actually, because this didn't get fulfilled right away, that we interacted with it, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 times at least then thereafter. Over here, what happened with this one? Well, it didn't get filled in right away. And what do we see? What do we see? Even a gap on the charts right there at that one. It's incredible, right? So do we think that 254 is a target? Yes, it is. I'll just go back down there and on the way review the other target, which is 1392, by the way, towards the top side. So 1392 being where we're looking, but is it fair to say that maybe we could be aiming down here to 254 again? Let's look down at the 30-minute time frame. Nice moves yesterday, managing to have a nice instant worth pointing out in terms of the Parabolic SAR. Okay, so if you were trading off the back, oh, I've got my mouse lined up on top of it. I have to move that. If you were trading off the back of the Parabolic SAR, and I'm just trying to show you something here, which is quite important. Now I realize that 90% of people watching, even though you can hear the words I'm speaking right now, will probably still find that they can't actually necessarily understand what it is that I'm talking about, right? And that's okay. You don't need to. But for anybody who is managing to follow along right now, then please do be aware of this fact that when you're looking at the Parabolic SAR and you're looking at it and trying to trade with it as your entry and exit signal, that of course you're looking at this dynamic that can happen at times where where immediately it's gone, and in fact you're right back onto the bullish case scenario. And this happened during a time when there was, of course, a red candle, like in the followed on with a red candle. So just be aware that insta flipping for this one is not the way to do it. That it's not stop and reversal at once. It's not the parabolic stop and immediately reverse. It's not that. It's parabolic stop. There could be a reversal. Let's wait and see how things go. But also, it's as we've seen so far that in parabolic trends, that it will often stop, but for a correction rather than a reversal, a little reaction rather than a reversal. And that's what you're trying to benefit from. You're not looking to necessarily play every single signal that comes in, because the signal on the Parabolic SAR, like I say, it is definitely a way of managing your exits on your trades more than it is a signal for entering. But if you are using it for a signal for entering, because you can, and Wells Welder explains how in his book, you don't actually get in on the actual changeover itself. You have to be aware that these things can happen, as we saw just there. Anyway, 254 being a key price point for me, I'm going to just stick on a horizontal line here, and we can see that this actually takes us back down to this area of inflection here if we were to come back down to fill in that flash. And looking back over to the left, we can see that there was been interaction here a number of times as well. So we've got some interaction with this line just in here. We can see as well that when we gapped over it, that there was that there. We can see that we also found support here once we gapped over it before as well. We can see on our way down to this zone that there was a little inflection point just here as well. We can see that in this region, when we could have maybe have looked to have been trying to turn things around as well, that we came very, very close to that region and didn't actually push through. I might as well point this this whole area out here while we're talking about it. And of course, this most recently where we are. So I think that actually, in terms of support and resistance, that's fairly clear. Jumping then therefore back up to the 4-hour time frame and asking a question again about whether or not we could be coming back down to that region, I think that that's fair enough to look to. So continuing on then with the analysis here, looking towards these movements up the way. Have we had divergence? We have not. There's been no divergence in these two sections on that 50-minute time frame. On the 30-minute time frame, the 1-hour time frame, 2-hour time frames, 3-hour time frames, and all that. Nope, there hasn't been. So that's interesting. By the way, if you want to know, the Chinese markets take a whole hour off for lunch. Right, interesting stuff. Do you take a whole hour off for lunch at the job that you have currently? And if you're a trader trading on US stocks, do you indulge on any lunchtime at all? Or do you just trade right the way through the day? How do you eat? Do you eat your lunch at your desk? Do you stop trading for the afternoon? Do you only trade when markets open? Let me know. It'd be cool to talk about it. Here, you have a whole hour off for lunch. Which seems so it's just it's just after talking about American markets for so long, and to an almost exclusively American audience, it's interesting to point out these little dynamics about how other markets work around the world, that not everything is the same way as it is in the United States. Anyway, yeah, I think that's probably fair to look towards that zone. Could we get could we get a pullback, etc.? What have we managed to achieve so far with this move here? What have we achieved so far with this little move just here that's happened? Well, there'll be a lot of people who were looking for the fulfillment of this, which was a gap fill. If I just what happened there? That's the wrong place for that. I want it up here, please. If I just zoom on in, you can see that this was a gap in the charts, a gap here. It remained a gap all the way up until we just filled it in there. So yeah, so that's cool. So what am I looking for though overall? I am obviously looking for, I'm actually, when I say obvious, it might not be obvious. I'm bullish on Evergrande, right? I think that Evergrande here at this low is being able to put in what looks like a very typical major market macro turnaround at a low. It's nice because with that hour lunchtime break that they take, there's other elements of kind of play it by numbers style Chinese and Asian markets. I find that they're just as easy to trade as anything else, and they seem to operate along the lines of technical analysis absolutely perfectly, almost like they read about technical analysis before they read about trading, which is mad because we know that, of course, just even these candles alone that we're using were invented in China or in Japan hundreds and hundreds of years ago. All roads lead to Rome, ladies and gentlemen. All roads lead to Rome, and that is and yeah, so what am I looking for here? Well, best entry for me is going to be around about 254, shock horror, and I'm aiming up here on this time frame still for movements up. And by the way, interesting dynamics. In fact, let's just kind of look in and see. Now it's a compelling case that's being made by by my indicator on the 4-hour time frame for us to go back down, and I've just made it fairly compellingly as well. Was it the 4-hour time frame? Has it just disappeared? Hold on a second. What's going on here? That was the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, it's still there. Sorry, just a bit confused for a second. So it's a fairly compelling. What time is it? 3:10. All right, I'm going in 20 minutes. By the way, people. Fairly compelling case to be made here for this one to go back down to that one, to that lower area. 3-hour time frame showing us, that there is still this draw towards the top, up this chimney. And could we be going up there? 404 would be the next target for us. Could it be that we're going 254 to 404? Could that be a move for us to have on Evergrande? Now, this is one that I'm putting out there as potential for other people to indulge in. I myself am already long on this thing. That's right. Yes, I am. I already am. I don't talk about my positions often. I'm not going to break the bank over the head of this one. I'm only investing as ever what I can afford to lose. So that's that. That's the sensible way to do things if you want to live at this for a long time, skill for life and all that. Anyway, you could be aiming up for that. That could be an easy 8-to-1 move. Nice, very, 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 very solid trade. But of course, really in the longer term, that we want to see moves that are much bigger than this. But that's an area to be aware of in terms of inflection for us. Going down the way as well, just seeing if this jumps out at us anywhere else. Going up the way, this is the daily time frame essentially. Nope. 1 hour again, 30 minutes again. So right now back down to these small time frame things then, and see how did we handle at this area, what's going on, and have we done enough just in this area alone. What did you mean, Sal, when you said D's got puts on this thing? Crazy guy. But then again, if you got them last night up there at that high, and you're getting them because it dropped down below this 236 moving average here as it's consolidating, potentially putting in what could be a Adam and Eve on an even smaller time frame, like the 2 minutes, just to spread that out a bit, or something, or a descending triangle, or whatever you want in this region. We can clearly identify that there's this kind of pivot point in this in recent times for us here, and that market's opening up tonight, our time. No, wait, tonight. No, they're closed. Oh, that's Friday. Friday was last night for this one. This one's closed until Sunday night now. Sunday night. So Monday, the weekend, the volatility after the weekend, all the crap where people put out news stories and want to push things around. Oh, perfect. Right, great. Well done, D. If you did take profit on that, or you were putting puts out, or you were hedging, or whatever it was that you're doing. It's also cool that you're trading on this thing if you are, because I don't know who else is. I did tell everybody. So yeah, isn't that an interesting little feature in there, everybody? Maybe you can, maybe you can't tell. Maybe this to you doesn't mean anything. Those white dotted lines that are scrolling around there. An average casual viewer opening up this show right now, who's never tuned in before or whatever, wouldn't know what they are. But everybody in the audience knows what they are. They know that it's the Parabolic SAR. Everybody in the audience knows that the Parabolic SAR during a period of consolidation is nowhere near as useful as it is during a period of trend and price action. Everybody in the audience knows what a descending triangle is. Everybody in the audience knows what the significance of consolidating at below the 236 is. Everybody knows what the flash is. Everybody knows so much stuff in here that this is an incredible picture that I'm able to zoom in on, and that everybody, and I say everybody, and don't be alarmed if that doesn't apply to you, but that's such an amazing amount of people in the audience are able to look at that and instantaneously understand what it is. Instantaneously as well, look over here and see the diminishing volume that's happened during this period, as you would expect to see during a phase of consolidation. Seeing that there's been these little increases in volume as well at times whenever we failed at the 236 as well, just for little bits of extra detail. For all the people that are able to then see that as this moves down the way, if we were to come in for a Fibonacci retrace, oh wait a minute, we've also got that down there at 230 again. Ah, damn you! Really at 230? So this is an interesting one. D, if you are pushing this, if you are looking to push down below 240. There is me kind of building up to saying that we could come in here on Monday. We could easily have this this expression of this move, which could easily carry us down as we look here towards what was that 262. So that's pretty close to that 250 move already, just off the back of that consolidation. But we could actually as well be looking down to 230 again. I mean, that's really annoying actually that 230 could be a thing that we're looking to. For me, just looking at the charts, that as in I hadn't noticed that one before. On the 2-minute time frame that it's there. But yeah, I mean, it still could very easily get filled in. That's, well, there's the benefit of this indicator, for everybody, including me, is in that, but it might point out to me something that otherwise I wouldn't have necessarily known about. So AHT, right? We were waiting for this move to come in to take us down for the gap fill, for the flash fill in here, to fill in this flash, right? And there isn't a gap, and there isn't a flash down here that's lower on a different time frame. There's not this movement down which could then carry on, for some other fulfillment towards the downside. That's not there. And we're looking at it saying we could maybe get a turnaround here. I was looking at this thinking yesterday, what will the markets be like tomorrow? Will we push back up above this area? We have done. We've not got any follow through as yet. You can see this is really operating fairly significantly for us in terms of this movement. So far, the flash is clearly operating as the significant area in the market. It's this flash that's the thing. I mean, that's so obviously it. So obviously that's the reason. Now over there on thingamajig, Evergrande, we can see the 254 one. The 239 one is down there on a lower time frame that you could also see that come in for. As I say, 254 there on the 1 minute time frame, but as I scroll back out, it should reveal itself. Where was it? That's 254. Where's it gonna? Where's the 239? It was a 2 minute time frame, must have been then. Yeah, 239 here. So this is one of these ones I want to know eventually if these dynamics will eventually lead to us, if we learn something from these and eventually we'll not be thinking along these lines. This is a curious one here though, right here. Right there. Right there. That we're right on it. Over these markets are not going to open today. This is Friday in China. Today it's Saturday, by the way. Well, actually, no. Today in China, it's still Friday. It's today in China right now. In China, what is it? 11 p.m. the markets here are closed for the weekend. So over the period of the weekend, maybe we think about the implications of all of this. Do we go down to fill in this in, or has this, you know, have these movements here really actually done it? And it's just, you know, it's just that you know, looking at this, looking at the one of these candles here would have pushed us down. It's 1 cent. You know, it's 1 cent. And like, it's 1 cent. It's less than 1%. It's less than 1/3% move that would have needed to have done to have kind of wiped this thing out, and it didn't do it, but it was right on there. I'm not 100% sure if I can put a massive amount of stock in this one. Again, comparison point for somebody who's like looking at the different layouts of these things here. Then I'm going to check the chat in a minute. I'm aware that I've not been reading the chat. I'm very aware I've not been reading the chat, by the way. And that I'll check it in a second. Hey, Rocky, what are important points in Fibonacci retracement? Rocky or Crypt alerts aren't working, apparently. Thanks for telling me that was earlier on. If you're, that was way earlier on. Well, it's Saturday. Good man, KT. My desk is sofa accounts. Fat, blah, blah. Joining in. Hey, yo. Can't imagine you working for someone else. Look, ding, ding, ding. Me too. Right. Nobody's saying anything's wrong here. That's great, 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 great. Thanks so much, people, for your ever continued support. I really do appreciate y'all. What the hell is this? Where's my flash? What time frame? Where am I? Where are you? Where is it? Where is it? There, hydrodrons. Yeah, this scenario here is that we're seeing that the true range running into it was what this I could just get the indicator on, but what were we talking here? That's 30 cents or so. That's 12.92 to 50 cents. That's 12.91 to 36, like 35 cents or so. Yeah, 30 cents or so down here, 12.44, all the way up as high as 12 thingy, nearly 80 cents, whatever. So there's these moves that are like significant enough chunks of moves beforehand. It wasn't going along barcoding, as people like to call it, in that moving 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, and then actually moved down that 1 cent, but not the additional cent, because effectively what you're saying is that to undo the flash, we'd have needed to have moved 100% more than the true range at any given time. Whereas in the run up to this flash, we didn't need to move more than 100% of the true range to undo the flash. We only needed to, well, you know, actually, because the move up was so high, but the lead in is what I'm talking about here, that even if this had been a small move, etc., we wouldn't have needed to have done 100% of the if it had been a small move. Look, just any old flash idea will do in terms of making this point, so just find any other one. Here you can see that there was volatility. We moved from 42.42 down to 39.13. That's a few dollars. Over here at 39, the flash had come in at 40. It would have only have needed to move $1. The true range was a number of dollars beforehand, so it needed to move a small fraction of its true range to go back in and fill that in, blah, blah, blah. The other thing, it needed to move 100% more than its true range, moving 2 cents rather than 1 cent. It did move 1 cent and went back to that exact price. Tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one whenever things can be reduced so fractionally, so small, that when you're dealing with just binary numbers, 1 or 2, then that's massive, you know. Whereas if your range is 1 to 10 and you only move 2, that's a 1, and that's a 10% move. That's nothing compared to 100% more than. So that's the point there on that Evergrande one. I don't know if that's useful for anybody, but I think it probably was. It certainly was useful for me. It's 21 minutes past 3. I'll be tuning out in an hour. I just said an hour, but actually meant in 10 minutes. Right. Okay, so I'm going to tune out in 10 minutes or less. Let me know if there's anything that I need to look at, if I missed anything or whatever. I'm going to just jump back over to the chat here. I think I will consolidate. Batman Pajama. I think it will consolidate and end the week, and your weekly flash will close and be up around 1531 on AHT. You know, Batman Pajama, I've really enjoyed looking at the AHT charts with you and others over the last wee while. It's been a fantastic thing to do. Very highly educational. It's been there've been profitable trades to be had as well, quite a few of them. along the way. So we've all enjoyed the thing, and I think that's so. Just to extend my gratitude again towards yourself for having, you know, introduced us to these things and given us a reason to look at them and whatever else. And that goes out to everybody. And it Kim's Ghost F the hedges. I'm holding for you. Oh, that's nice. What's going on here? I'm ready to moon and get back to normal life and not feel like I have to monitor all the time so as to not miss anything detrimental, says Init Kim. I know that's the way that it feels like, Init Kim. You don't have to monitor things all the time to not miss out on anything detrimental, but I do feel for you massively. It's so funny. This is my normal life. I mean, you're saying you're looking forward to getting back to normal life. It's so funny. What is normal for so many people? I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to listen to Rocky and Jamie live while I'm traveling the world. Oh, good one, Rich Grillo. That's cool. That's a nice little point. Where will LRC find support, says Leroy Brownkins. LRC-USDT. I saw some real interesting discussions. Oh my goodness. I saw some real interesting discussions in the Discord. I'm going to look at that super chat in a second, but before I get overwhelmed, I saw some real I'm going to talk about this, but I saw some real interesting discussions in the Discord about regards to AHT recently between a couple of different people, and somebody got in touch with me, and I do know who it was. It might have been Tubes, asking what did I think about all this stuff. With it, right? And it's and good questions. LRC here. Just first off, you know, in terms of I've already got something in here somewhere from this one here, and there's a past 382. Well, you know, you'd probably be looking down to 256. You know, something like that could easily drop another 10%. You know, there's nothing stopping it from dropping another 10% at the minute. There just isn't. So you know, it could bounce back up the way too. Ooh, but I wouldn't. But you know, I mean, it's like what you say. But what you know, there's this interesting conversation that happened. And somebody was saying, you know, what's leading what and whatever else. Let me just be quite clear for people who are using cryptocurrency, they're trading in cryptocurrencies. The total market cap. Is that going to give me total here? The total market cap is not dominated by the movements of any given coin, and there's obviously is dominated loosely by Bitcoin. Because as you can see here in the Bitcoin dominance chart, that of that total market cap, 43% of it is the amount of it is 43.32% of this 2.75 trillion. 43.2 whatever percent of that 2.75 trillion is exclusively in Bitcoin. Now another huge chunk of that is in Ethereum. It's crazy big amount of those how much they dominate the market. And then that's why they got that market dominance chart. And then whenever you're trying to make comparisons about which one's leading which one and stuff like that, it's very, very difficult to do. And instead really you're looking at market dynamics. Occasionally you'll want to look at I just typed in this, and it's of absolutely no, it's not a coincidence at all that I typed that in. It's a Freudian typo, that one. You could look at things like this Shibu coin, which is obviously looks to be doing probably something along these sorts of lines like we talked about before, pushing up. Where is it going to find support at, you asked? Well, even if it does find support at those areas, my friend, just kind of showing you, whoops, wrong tool, just showing you this here, that it's you know, even if it does find support in any of these areas, it needs to then come back up and take out this other target, as it's like so obvious, right? How many times? I mean, how obvious do I make the technical analysis? There's that number, there's that resistance. What do we see? Oh my goodness, what happened? What happened there? What happened there? Oh my goodness, that failure happened there. Oh my goodness. What a shock. And you know, but you got to look around, like lots of things, like massive volume in this pushed up this thing's market cap then of SHIB. Let's just get the market cap of SHIB up. Looks like it's probably going to ditch its way back down to 11.347 billion, having been as high as 40 billion. Look at the move here. If this were to drop from, you know, from the highs that it had recently, where is it going to find support, you're asking? Well, like, you know, if it had found support at the 236, which came in at around about that area or whatever, it would have lost about a quarter of its market cap, having gone from 40 to 30 billion, you know. Like, and people are like, do you realize the impact of these moves on the charts? I mean, are you putting two and two together? Because I'm giving you multiple twos to add together. Just take any of the twos that I give you and combine them together, and you'll end up with you know, some sort of synergy out there. So just be aware of these things and be aware of that. Then ultimately, then that people also do look at other charts, right? Now, nobody, literally nobody asked me to take a look at, well, actually, it's not true, but to be perfectly true, honest with you, less than 5 people in the last year have asked me to take a look at a cryptocurrency versus Bitcoin. I said to people 2 years ago that the truth is that when it comes back to the bull market, people will look at cryptocurrencies versus dollar. In the previous 4 years or 3 years, and this goes as well towards that conversation that I had in the Discord the other day with Jeff, etc. A shout out to you, Snuckers, if you're out there, about how you can understand that markets are changing. Everybody and their mother thought that when the bull market came in, when the bull market comes back for coins, that everybody would be trading them versus Bitcoin. That's what everybody in the world said. Everyone that I could possibly find. I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for everybody that I watched at the time that was talking about it, or listened to, or read about, or saw in a newspaper article, or anything else in the world. All of them were talking about that relationship with Bitcoin. And of course, in reality, nobody at all, like less than 1% of people who've ever asked me for a cryptocurrency in the last 2 years have asked for it to be against Bitcoin. What does that say to you? Well, people are wrong, and everybody's wrong. And not only is everybody's wrong, but everybody's opinion also changed without everybody realizing that everybody was wrong beforehand. How mental is that? But people do trade these things versus Bitcoin. And as you can see here, while over on the other charts, you're down past the 236. Here you can see quite clearly you're consolidating above the 236. If I just drag this down as well to show you how kind of we came in last time, and drag this down from the tops down the way here to this area, you can see that while we did obviously push down below the 236, it was quite brief. We pushed back up with a really solid move up the way, and then got continuation thereafter. Back in a second. So it begs the question, when this is here and this is obvious, and I've been saying to people to look at the Bitcoin price and to see that the Bitcoin price has gone up. And I told people, and don't deny it because you were all here watching, and I talked about the total market cap and how the total market cap could be going up. And then when I talked about how with the total market cap and the Bitcoin price is going up, and then that the Bitcoin dominance chart could see it dropping down from 47 down to 43 or 44 or whatever it was, and then this has happened, and all of this has happened afterwards. All of it's happened afterwards, and I've been making these points with regards to cryptocurrencies versus USDT, for example, all the way over here, and that nobody at all has asked for me to ever take a look at things like Link versus Bitcoin. In fact, that's not true. Once I've been asked, or twice or something like that, I've been asked for this one sort of thing, but nobody's asked for these things. Nobody has asked for it. Interesting dynamic, that one. Anyway, we're out of time, so thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Rocky Outcrop. I'll be Rocky Outcrop when I come back again tomorrow. I never stop being Rocky Outcrop. That's the thing. Be sure to tune in later on for Tradesploshing. Jamie will be having a good time with everybody, a good time looking at the charts. Oh, sugar, there was a donation there I meant to. Can you share this with Jamie, please? Oh, perfect timing, because Jamie just called in after the thingy too. Perfect timing, pal. JT says, can you share this with Jamie, please? I'm normally tucked up when his show is on. You're both top lads. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome. Great. Thanks very much. That's a huge donation. Thank you very much, JT.
Right, great. And Leroy Brown became a member.
Leroy!
Thanks so much, man. Bam Mama Jama, I think we'll consolidate on the week. Yes, man. Great, excellent. So I've read them all out. I've not missed any.
Some guy called Dan became a generous person.
When? Really?
Some guy called Dan.
Did I miss that? Right at the start. Yeah, Dan Lasange changed his membership thing. I didn't. Okay, Jamie. Okay, cool, excellent. Esoteric stuff, which I'm trying to say cheerio. So, brilliant. Shout out to some guy called Dan. Thanks so much for that. Leroy, thank you for becoming a member. JT, really appreciate it. That's really, really kind of you. Big shout out to everybody. If you do want to do big donations like that, there is the PayPal and other donation methods that obviously YouTube take 30% of those donations. Really massive appreciated for that. But also it's really cool because that's so big a deal, and it shows up on the live stream afterwards, and people can click it and can see it, and it means an awful lot to me, and I think it's really fantastic, and thanks so much. Interesting stuff for people who want to know what I'll be doing today after I call my mum. I will be tasting what these things like. I hate them, but I'm curious as to see whether or not my taste buds have changed over the last 20 years, so I got myself them. These are the sort of things that I do. I often taste mushrooms. I hate mushrooms, for example, to see if I started liking them. Bad Mama Jama, thanks so much. JT, thanks so much. Lido Brown, thanks so much. Ghost of Dan, thanks so much. Kevin, Devin Docherty, almost said Kevin Docherty. You, if you are Irish and like snooker, might know about that former world champion Kevin Docherty. That'll be why I made that little slip speech thing. Ghost of Dilber Future. You interrupt me to say whatever as you came over and talk shite for a second. That's hilarious. Ghost of Dilber Future, Sally Mander, Ghost of Chitsutsu Guy. Yeah, I'm telling you, you need to. Yeah, man. Fortuna Kiss, thank you so much. Koki, thanks so much. Dan Dustin, thank you so much. Corey West Coastonian, thanks so much. All of you, thanks so much. And then to the other folks as well that are just in the chitter chatter as well, and always appreciate all singing you. Thank you so much, all singing, all dancing, wonderful people out there that tune in for these shows. You're amazing. You've got Kimmy Yo, you've got Maria. Lol, I do that with raspberries. I always end up still hating them. I do it with a whole bunch. I did it with parsley enough that I actually ended up liking parsley, so that was cool. I think it's really good. See if you get parsley and you mix it with coriander, it makes it even better. Rocky, sorry, I read my own name. Nathan, thanks so much. Rich, thanks so much. Enoch, Kim, thanks so much. Stephen, thanks so much. And Kieran, thanks so much. Tubes, thanks so much. Mike, Bunsen Burner, CC's Ghost, Vic Vince, Sally Mander, Scott, Walker, Kieran, Kimmy Yo, Bad Mama Jama, Mushroom, thank you so much, all y'all. And DMC17, the tadpole runner-up person. You did really good guessing a couple of different answers as well during that tadpole games. That was a good laugh. And yeah, Space Monkey and everybody else. If I missed your name, didn't mean to. Thanks so much, Sarah Arara, for tuning in as well. And I hope you all have a great time at Tradesploshing later on. Thanks so much. Catch you later. Got to go. Do you want to say bye again?
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Awesome. See you all next time. There's me talking. That's right, you can hear me. That's because I'm going to say hit the like button. Thanks so much. Catch you later.